Sorry.
Raphael,
I mean, honestly.
We can do this.
come on, Raphael. Keep it down.
Hey, let's get right now. We're back here with Fire Emblem Three Houses, our Verdant Win Assassin's only run. Last time we began, we sort of had a recap with Claude. We met everyone now that they're all advanced, and we sort of vowed with the church to sort of rebuild the monastery and put the screws to the empire, basically. And we've started our support theater here, but there are a lot of supports to get through, so I had to split it up into two. There were some very sweet ones last time, and then one at the end that started out making me see red and then made me okay. I had a very visceral reaction to that one somehow. I'm still a little shaken. Let's watch Raphael and Marianne now.
Marianne, come here, quick!
Sure, he's got a bird he wants to show her.
What's wrong, Raphael?
It's that bird you were talking to. I just found him. See?
The same very
right
one.
there on the lower branch. That's gotta be him. But he looks a little sad for some reason.
You're right. Do you mind if I handle this? Hello there, Mr. Bird. How do you do? Yes, I see. I see. So your food supply is...
Food? I got it.
I completely understand. I have seen more people and birds foraging for berries lately.
Just falling around
It
at the
would be
ground.
ideal if those berries were growing in another forest nearby. Then you wouldn't have to.
Are you hungry, Mr. Bird? I got just what you need.
Are those bugs? Yuck.
Look at him go. He's loving it. He's gonna get so big and strong after this.
That was...
Just threw some bugs at a bird on a branch.
But how did you know he was hungry?
Well, you told him. You said the food supply.
I could tell by looking at him. He looked hungry and weak. More importantly, I saw what you did. That bird wasn't speaking human, so you gotta understand birdese. I knew it.
Oh, about that. I'm sorry, Raphael. But I need to tell you the truth.
I was just guessing. just trying to mess with you a little bit.
I can sort of understand what animals are thinking when I look at them, but I can't speak to them. I'm sorry for leading you on.
Oh, I see. What about me then? Can you tell what I'm thinking when you look at me?
And you can also just tell her what you're thinking.
No, Raphael. I can't.
Well, of course not. You're not even looking at me. You gotta look at my eyes.
Nope, still can't do it.
I guess I just gotta tell you. I'm thinking it would be nice if you talked to me the way you talk to animals.
You want her to call you Mr. Raphael?
What do you mean?
Whenever you talk to animals, you seem happy and friendly. I just wish you'd talk to me like that too.
I'm so sorry, Raphael. I didn't know.
What if I tried this? Cheep cheep chiree choo choo doo!
What the...
Whoa! I've never heard you laugh before. I should have talked to you in birdese sooner.
Would you care to translate that phrase for us, birdies? What does it mean?
Cheep chirah cheep li woo teedledee!
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that one.
No one
I
did.
said you gotta eat bugs to grow big and strong, just like Mr. Bird.
I think I'll have to pass.
That's such a cute one. You know what? It's funny because obviously in the context of us, it's only 3 supports. She kept up that lie that she could talk to birds, or that there was a bird that spoke human, for 5 years. I mean, I guess they weren't necessarily hanging out for that time, but like, just the thought that like a war has broken out since then, and she's like, well, I see. You know, this is gonna sound dumb. See, 5 years ago, I kind of fibbed a little bit. Claude and Hilda, let's do it.
I feel like
I wonder if there'll be more talk of strangulation this time.
Claude, take my mind off it all. Regale me with another of your weird childhood stories.
Okay then. How about an old story from a foreign land that my dad told me when I was a kid?
From a foreign land. My dad isn't, though. I don't think that.
Once upon a time, there was a white camel that got separated from his herd.
I'm so happy for that white camel. I really thought he was gonna die.
Was that story really worth bawling your eyes out over?
It was wonderful. Don't you know how moving that story
I really wish we
is?
could have heard the whole thing. It's just like 3 lines. He was separated from his herd. Looked bad for a bit, but then he was back. That's all.
You know, I never thought much of it until today. But seeing you bawling like that, I do appreciate it a little more now.
What's that mean?
Well, you're always fake crying, aren't you? Getting all misty-eyed to make people think you're a delicate flower.
What? You're awful. I only cry when I'm sad.
Claim what you
Sounds like the voice of
I
someone
can
who just
spot
got
real
busted.
tears from fake tears any day of the week. Fess up.
If you understand me so well, maybe it's because you're no different.
True, but I've never seen him cry at all.
How's that?
When you smile or laugh, it's not sincere. I can tell. I've only seen you genuinely smile a handful of times. Like when you're talking to the professor.
Hoppy from like behind that pillow over there with his clipcord goes,
Wow, good one, Hilda. You hit me right in the gut. I guess you're right. I'm not so different from you in that way. But how did you come to realize that? Have you been watching me that closely?
I'm afraid so. My eyes seem to wander toward you of their own accord.
Putting it all on the table, are we?
Hold on. Forget I said that. I didn't say that.
Nope, no can do. Forgetting isn't something this crafty brain of mine is capable of.
Oh, there's one other way we would differ then.
Besides, my eyes have a tendency to wander in your direction too. How else do you think I found out about your fake crying?
Huh? What are you getting at?
Say, Hilda, once everything's settled down, do you want to come meet my parents? I mean, don't get the wrong idea, you just seem interested in my family. Besides, you've opened up to me quite a bit. But I still haven't let you in on my own secrets. If you meet my parents, I think you'll understand. Though it might come as a bit of a surprise.
At this rate, Claude's just inviting the entire class to come with him after
Your
the war.
family? I'd be lying if I said I wasn't curious.
She really wants to meet the woman who dragged you behind a horse.
Well then, if neither of us changes our minds before
Or no, that
the
was his father,
opportunity
wasn't it?
presents itself, let's agree to go visit my home together.
Although, if it's a long journey, my brother might not be too happy.
True, that might be a tough nut to crack. As tough as Fodlan's locket.
Wow, Folan's Locket ain't that hard. In fact, we're gonna go there soon for a paralogue, I bet. Although I understand the wordplay and that Garst is... Garst? Holst, sorry, is known for having protected Folan's Locket. I appreciated that, Claude. That's a neat one. I mean, Claude and Hilda is always fun, isn't it? It just is. Lysithea and Lorenz. Let's see this.
Lysithea, it's no good for you to expose yourself to such strong sunlight.
I'm trying to remember what their conversation was like about last time. It was he said some slightly unpleasant things about how her house was less powerful than him, and so really she should be like thanking him for taking an interest in her at all or whatever.
And a chill could steal upon you at any moment. You really ought to have worn a mantle. You have been running yourself absolutely ragged. Would you please consider taking some rest?
Enough is enough. I am fully aware. Now, stop following me.
I'm only concerned for your health.
That's great and all, but I feel fine today. And I'm perfectly capable of caring for myself. I don't have time to take a rest. I'm overloaded with work, and I have less time than everyone else. I just want to do my own thing. Bring order to the Alliance, and put my parents' minds at ease.
No need to rush. How can you be so certain your lifespan is shortened anyway? I do not decided that, but consider me skeptical. If you are healthy now, and if you take proper care of yourself, you ought to live just as long as anyone
No.
else.
That's all well and good, but those vitamin-packed sweets you brought tasted weird.
If you want a healthy body, then you need to start with what
Oh
you
God,
eat.
Lawrence.
You have a point, but those health sweets are gross.
I sent for the finest in wholesome, healthy treats for you. I asked only for the very sweetest.
That was pretty nice of you. I'm sorry, Lawrence. Thank you for being so thoughtful. Still, I don't need bushels and bushels of them. Gaining a ton of weight won't exactly lengthen my lifespan either. I mean, I like to be able to hang out with you as much as possible, and for as long as possible.
Truly? Oh, I'm so glad. I feel the same, even in an otherwise perfect future. I still cannot see a happy life for myself without you in it. In fact, the more time we spend together, the more essential to me you become.
Lawrence is beginning to learn what friendship is about. And what caring about people feels like.
So let us walk, side by side, toward a future together.
Okay, now take it back a bit.
Down, will you?
Why are you flustered? What is there to be embarrassed about? You know I will always care for you.
Okay, noted. Will you just calm down already?
Need not worry about a thing. I will look after you no matter what may come. After all, the future of Fodlan rests upon my shoulders, does it not?
I won't
Boy,
give
and
up on
hers.
myself either. Thanks for caring, Lawrence.
Still a bit bullheaded in the way he just forces his affections onto people and insists that they take things and stuff, but it strikes a slightly politer tone now, doesn't it? Leonie and Ignatz!
Ah, Leonie. Off to train?
Already done. What about you? Off to draw?
No, I'm on my way back. I was thinking of adding a little color to my latest piece, so...
Come to think of it, I've still never seen your work. Here, let me take a peek.
Uh-oh, whoa.
It doesn't work like that.
Can't just ask an artist
You have
that.
to know in advance. I need time to prepare.
Lighten up. Wow, look at all that paper. Are these all drawings? What should I look at first?
Wherever we travel, I try to capture the feeling and character of the landscape. I guess they've all kind of piled...
I just like to imagine during like one of our most intense paralogs, Ignatz is just like, oh, but check out that landscape! Just steals off mid-fight to just do a quick sketch.
Each place is unique. Not just the geography, but also the clothing and architecture and so on. Everywhere has its own design sensibilities.
Yeah, you'd think there'd be only one way to do stuff like engraving, but it actually varies a lot.
Yeah, I guess someone as well as thrifty, as she puts it, as Leonie would probably have an interest in all the different cultures and stuff, similar to Ignatz. There's a point
Just
there.
within the Alliance, the styles are quite different between the North and South, and the Empire is even more diverse.
Oh, here's a landscape. What a bright blue sky. You really make it seem alive.
The blue of the sky changes with the season too. In the summer, it's darker, and yet in the winter, it's almost luminous. And, of course, the landscape below affects the sky's appearance by virtue of contrast. It's hard to get the color just right, so I spend a lot of time experimenting with pigments and... Oh no. I'm so sorry. I've been talking your ear...
Listen, Ignatz, you need to become a painter.
Huh?
Don't say it's not useful. Your talent moves people.
Hey, art ends wars
Someday,
sometimes.
I'm sure your art will save someone's life.
Oh no, I wouldn't go nearly that far.
Remember that girl you told me about? You made her so happy, and you were only just starting out. Think about what you could do now that you've had so much practice. This is your calling.
Beyond what I was saying earlier about it being funny that these people like hold on to these things for 5 years, also that you remember that 5 years later. I would not be able to remember a conversation I had with someone 5 years ago down to like that level of detail, I don't
You
think.
so?
Yeah, it's something you can do that no one else can. I envy you.
She's right,
I
Ignatz.
wish I had a gift like that.
Well, no one could dodge Queen Crit Machine quite like you, my friend.
So stop apologizing for your talent and just do it.
Thank you, Leonie. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a lot to think about.
Very nice, that. Very nice indeed. So hang on, how many sports? Oh, I've got a whole bunch of sports to do. So if we want to space them out, so I'm not just doing like a billion hobby supports all back to back, I should probably actually go to the monastery now and track them down. Right. So here we are in the monastery at last after all this time. But let's go. But we're mostly still focusing on. This is still a support episode, and we're still focused on supports here. Catherine would like to speak to me. Now is a superb time. What is this? To be or A?
I will not yield! Yeah! It's been a while since I had...
Oh God, I thought we were training for a minute.
Not for you, Professor.
That was a bit intense. Hey, well, no
I
problem.
didn't expect to be ambushed on a simple scouting mission.
Are you hurt?
You should be asking about the mission, not about me.
Don't tell me which dialogue option I should and shouldn't
I
pick.
have to ask, Professor. What brought you here?
I was worried about you.
So you came to protect me. I'm beginning to understand why your allies love
Whoa,
me.
whoa. That's not the same thing. You seem to have that very much under control. I was worried is
These
all.
are selfish times. One doesn't expect to encounter selflessness. You're kind. In that respect, I'd say you're much like Lady Rhea.
That was a really nice thing to say until you compare me to her. You think Lady Rhea is kind?
Of course. It's thanks to her kindness that I'm here today. I was an outlaw in Fargus. She took me in and let me live here.
You an outlaw?
Didn't I tell you? I was born into House Karen in Fargus.
I must have never had this support this high with her because I don't remember any of this either.
They used to call
When we
me
heard about it earlier in
Thunderstrike
this group, it's the
Cassandra.
first time I'd heard of it.
I was implicated in a plot to kill the king. It was a
Oh!
totally false accusation.
You were
course.
part of the whole tragedy of
I had to
Dusker.
flee the kingdom, and the Archbishop took me in.
Rippin' spaghetti. And then you had to execute someone else who was implicated in that tragedy, Christoph. Oh, Rippin' Paschetti. No, that sucks. Why did you come to the monastery?
I used to be a student at the academy, so I knew I'd be safe.
Oh, right, I knew that. I should have
Lady
known. I should
Rhea
remember that.
saved me once when I was a student, you know. I don't really remember what happened. I was badly injured and near death.
Well, maybe it's more, we should put some more emphasis on why students are in that situation so often.
Lady Rhea took care of me. She didn't mind getting dirty. She took my muddied, bloodied body into her arms. Since then, Lady Rhea has been my inspiration.
Sounds like she's a bit more of an inspiration, mate.
I will always serve her, protect her, love her. For some reason, when I think about Lady Rhea, your face comes to mind.
Please stop saying that.
You've become an important presence in my life.
But thank you for what you mean to say. I'm honored.
I wasn't expecting you to have a positive response. I'm not thrilled about it personally. I am still going to keep my eye on you.
Wow.
Not so I can report to Lady Rhea, though. Just because I want to.
Hey, thanks. That's really sweet. I'm not so pleased about it, she says. That's funny. Let's go do another hoppy sport because we have a bunch of them piled up so we can space it out and not have just like all the non-hoppy sports and then all the hoppy sports. And there are so many that we can just run anywhere in the monastery and there'll like almost definitely be one. Howdy! Caspar! What's going on?
Hey, Professor, something's been bothering me.
Does it have anything to do with that guy who killed himself when you attacked him?
Remember that suspicious guy I chased after back when I was a student?
So it does.
A knight scolded me for it, but at the time I really thought I was doing the right thing. Now that I've had more experience on the battlefield, though...
I've been looking for you. There isn't much time, so I'll keep this brief. The knights encountered a band of brigands while out marching. It was hard fought, but we prevailed. Our soldiers are highly trained, but the enemy was formidable, and we weren't expecting combat. There were a number of casualties among our troops.
Bugger! Why report this to me?
There is something I wanted to bring to your attention. Do you recall the incident 5 years ago involving a suspicious individual in Garreg-Mach?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Everyone was totally normal back then.
These brigands all bore the same scorpion tattoo that we found on the arm of that man.
Well, that was a long con they were playing.
I thought that might be of interest to you.
Thank you.
Don't mention it. If you'll excuse me, I need to get back to my duties.
Yes, please, go get killed some more. I'll do nothing to help at all.
A coincidence, right? As soon as I mention that suspicious guy, this happens.
I was just thinking the same thing.
But some of the knights died in combat. They died because of what I did 5 years ago. This is my fault.
Well, we don't know
If
that.
I'd stayed quiet and tracked the guy down like you said, we would have stopped those brigands sooner. And I wouldn't have blood on my hands.
You know, I'm happy you acted anyway. Like, the knights are fully aware that we have a bunch of, like, people going through puberty at the monastery here who are, like, armed and stuff. So it's not your fault you were trying to protect people, you know what I mean? Even if you made a mistake. But he might have harmed the children.
But he probably wouldn't have. Now those knights, they're not coming back. We both know it. This is all my fault.
I disagree, but just want to end your support on a happy note. Well, shucks. That's a little unfortunate because we're probably not going to get him to A support and have some like reconciliation with that one. Oof. Marianne and Claude.
Oh, do you have an itch back there? I guess you can't scratch it on your own, can you?
Hi, Marianne.
Oh, Claude, it's just you.
Sorry, I know you're in the middle of an important discussion with Dorte, but could I talk to you?
If it's something silly like, my horse is cursed, therefore I'm cursed, then you should know I won't buy that
About
nonsense.
what?
It's about this thing you think you're burdened with. I've tried to guess what it is.
Please don't. This is making me a little uncomfortable.
All right, Claude. She's told you straight up
There's
now.
no reason to feel uncomfortable. It's not like I plan on saying it aloud. But if my guess is correct,
It's a
there's something I want to
Weird
tell
way
you.
to alleviate someone's
Will you
concerns.
hear me out?
Fine, I will listen.
At least he asked.
Once upon a time, in a faraway place.
What the? Are you telling me a
Can we get to the point a bit more,
Just
please?
listen. Once upon a time, in a faraway place, there was a young boy. This boy came from a despised lineage. In short, his mother was a daughter of the enemy. So the young boy was treated horribly by everyone around him. He hadn't done anything wrong. Everyone hated him simply for existing. Yelling, fighting back, explaining himself. Nothing he did could change his situation. When he was finally old enough, he ran far away from home. He escaped.
It sounds to me like he had no choice. I would have done the same had it been me.
Thing is, after he ran away, he still found himself in the very same position. People in the outside world hated him for where he came from.
Well, now that's...
The boy thought he had no place to go. all he could do was destroy the boundary between the inside and the outside worlds.
Destroy the boundaries?
Right. If there was no outside and inside, just one side to share, then the people outside wouldn't have a reason to hate him anymore, right? It wouldn't be easy, but if he managed it, he could shrug off that burden. The point is, people are born with burdens to carry. That much is undeniable. But whether they bind us or we cast them aside, that's up to us. So I think you should try to cast yours aside, Marianne.
This is cool because that doesn't just mean running away, and that's sort of something that she's been trying to grapple with. You can cast your burden aside by ignoring it or by trying to fix the problem, I guess.
Heavy burden down. It's time.
But I don't know if I can do it.
It's okay. I'm here for you. We're the same, and I can help you.
Always letting it down that he is that boy in the story.
Claude, we have nothing in
She didn't pick up on it. Oh no.
Hey, did you see that, Dorte? Your friend just smiled at me.
Thank you for sharing your story. I suppose I could try casting aside burden, as you say. We can try together.
Let's do that. And when we're free, we can change the whole world.
Very, very sweet, and obviously quite important for both of them, that conversation, I feel. Because Marianne's whole thing about having run away all this time from hello there, and tried to push people away and just hoped that it would sort of go away on its own, and maybe she could just pass into obscurity and or, you know, just randomly die maybe. And that was sort of the aim she was hoping for, and for her to for Claude to kind of let down the veil and say, you know, like I don't have to know absolutely everything about your secret. All I know is that even if we haven't been through the same thing, that feeling of burden is universal, and therefore we all you know, have dealt with something like that, or, you know, many of us have, and that way we can empathize, if not sympathize, and that's a useful first step in being able to confront it, I guess. And I think that was good for both of them, probably, to hear. It was good for Claude to hear him say it out loud. Why is everyone in the gazebo just, like, shirtless? I guess we'll meet someone here. Oh, it's Raphael. Everyone clear out, please. I'm trying to talk to Raphael in here. Now's a great time.
Hey, Professor. I think you've been working too much lately.
Really? It feels like all I've been doing is talking to people and spying on my friends talk to each other.
The battle's gonna keep going with or without you. But you're the one doing the most out there.
That is also patently untrue.
It's real impressive how you can focus on giving orders and fighting. I don't think I could do both in the same battle. I see you running all over the place. Even after the battle's over, I just don't want you to wear yourself out.
Oh, don't worry. I sleep for like a whole week after and eat like 6 meals. I have such a great work-life balance. I'll be okay.
Oh yeah? As soon as you say you're fine, that's when it hits you.
Don't give the writers ideas.
No offense, Professor, but don't you think some folks might be taking advantage of you?
Who?
Claude keeps asking you to do things, but you never say no.
How am I supposed to?
Like when you gave that
Look at him.
speech to the troops. That didn't seem like something you wanted to do.
Yes, it was very difficult to give an entire speech through dialogue trees alone.
I know you gotta follow orders on the battlefield, but you shouldn't have to do things off the battlefield if you don't wanna.
You've done things you didn't want to do.
What do you mean? Like studying?
Well, I was gonna think real hard about it, but yeah, that's a great example.
Sure, it's not my favorite thing in the world, but that was to keep my little sis fed. I had good reason for it.
You're saying my reasons aren't good? Same for me.
The same, huh? I think I get what you mean. You do things you don't want to do for the sake of everyone else. That's real noble of you, Professor.
Oh.
I guess I can't get in your way if you're doing it for the right reasons.
Hey, well, I can't get in your way either. Partially because you would probably pick me up and throw me with one hand.
Okay then. I'm gonna keep trying to do my best. But now, I'm gonna do it for you.
Aw.
My little sis is important to me. But you're real important too. I always work hard for the people who matter to me. And having more of them in my life just means I gotta work even harder.
Oh no.
What do you think?
I think you're important to me too, Raphael.
Really? I wasn't expecting you to say that. You're gonna make me blush.
I hate to tell you, pal, but it's already
We
happening.
gotta keep working hard together then. At least until this war's over.
Yes,
I'll
let's.
work to make sure you don't collapse from exhaustion.
Works for
You
me.
got nothing to worry about, Professor. I've been training non-stop. I got your back, no matter what.
So happy to hear it. Oh, Raphael's the best. How can you not love Raphael? And that is sort of a through line in his relationships and sort of story, isn't it? As much as we say that like characters like Edelgard are very single-minded and will just keep moving forward no matter what, then you can look at Raphael and it's like Raphael he gets embroiled in a war and he's like the nicest, least combative dude possible, but he like fights this whole war. And before that, he was studying for like a year and a bit. Like just, even though he hated that, just because sort of like Marianne is now, he just absolutely refuses to run away from things that need doing. A virtuous fellow, that Claude and Lysithea. Let's have a listen.
Strategically speaking, if I poised an archer to lie in wait here, and then lured the enemy in over here.
Lysithea, are you up late studying again?
I am, but I don't see how it's any of your business.
Look, you don't need to work yourself so hard. You're already as skilled as they come. There aren't many people out there who can match you. Everyone knows that.
I apologize for my sharpness. I just feel pressured.
Why would you, of all people, feel pressured?
That's what I'm saying, but no, we know why. But it's nice to hear her finally be able to say it. I think that probably will help her as well.
I place a lot of personal pressure on myself. I need to become as strong as possible to put my parents at ease.
When I met with Count Ordelia before, he said you were his pride and joy. But he also said his only concern was that you might be pushing yourself too hard. If you really want to make your parents happy, surely you should start by taking care of yourself.
That's true.
Then it's settled. Get some rest. Save your energy for tomorrow's battle.
Claude, whoa. Hey, we're not battling for like a few weeks.
You really are very mature, Claude, despite the impression you give off. And I clearly have plenty of growing to do. I probably don't have much room to come down on you for harping on me.
Oh, really? Does that mean you won't get mad if I treat you like a child from now on?
That is absolutely not what I said. Just after you finally earned a small degree of respect from me, too.
Oh, come on. You didn't earn any respect from you when he dodge tanked that entire Reunion at Dawn mission.
Hey, just think about it for a second. You're the only one in the world I treat like this. That means you're a pretty special person to me.
All right, Claude.
Special.
Take it however you like. Or maybe the thought is too much for a kiddo like you.
How dare you?
Yeah, don't do anything you might regret. I don't want to be turned to dust.
I'm feeling generous, so I'll let you off easy this one time.
Well, that's good of you. All joking aside, go get yourself some shut-eye, okay? After all, if you don't hurry up, the boogeyman might come out and eat you.
All right, buddy, you asked for it.
Time to be dust. Oh no. Claude and Lysithea have maintained support level A. Claude has been reduced to a lifeless pile of dust. Bad move, Claude. Bad move.
Teach.
Hey, not now. Sorry, I have to go talk to Claude. By which I mean Marianne.
Dear Goddess, I ask for guidance.
This is a much sadder place to pray than that it's just like a massive pile of rubble.
Professor, you're always watching over me, aren't you?
Well, don't make it weird. Of course.
I've spent my entire life avoiding people. Speaking to others was so difficult for me, so I made a point to always be alone. Animals and the goddess were the only ones I could really open up to. Do you remember the time you asked what it was I prayed for?
I bet it was something fun like Ponyland or cake. Thanks and protection.
Yes, but that wasn't the case. Back then, I felt that my life served no purpose, and that I was nothing more than a burden. In truth, I was begging the goddess to take me to her.
Oh, death. That's what you were praying for. Well, that's slightly less happy.
That was my daily prayer.
Every day you prayed for death. Oh, neat.
But now I fear the idea of dying and being left alone. I have friends who accept me for who I am now, in spite of my crest. And I have you watching over me. I finally learned to accept the kindness and warmth of others.
Good, because you deserve it.
It's because of you, Professor. Because of you, I've decided to live.
I think that's going a bit far. I think it's because of you. I think you made the decision. Don't nod at that, Hoppy.
I worried you, but I'm all right now. Even if I'm separated from you or any of my friends, the memories I've made here will give me the strength to continue on.
You should look to the future instead of the past. From now on, we'll look to the future, together.
Oh, I'm sure I'll have the strength to move forward if we're together.
Good to hear. Yay! Well,
Right.
you know, right, yeah, right. like the saddest secret ever we learned about Marianne is what she was actually praying for back then.
I'm thinking...
I'm talking. But at least she said, well, at least what she said to Hoppy was that she's feeling a lot better about it and she feels like she will be able to carry on, kind of. I think in her support with Dimitri, it sort of makes it sound like that's not really the case. Like, they both kind of agree that they're never going to be able to shrug off these feelings because it ain't that simple. But she's able to grapple with it a bit more now, which is nice, I suppose. Well, not I suppose, it's nice, period. Claude and Petra, listen to this. I was really liking this last few times I saw it,
Are
so...
you there?
Yes. What is your need?
Oh, I didn't actually think you'd be here.
You think I am not here, but you were calling for me.
It seemed best to call out as soon as I arrived. I can
No more
never tell
surprises,
when you're
yeah.
here. And it wouldn't be good for my heart if you just dropped in from out of nowhere.
When I was arriving, I called out for Claude, too. I was thinking it would give me joy if you were here.
Oh.
Is that a fact? I'm honored. Anyway, I see you beat me here today.
I can't believe you two are having this conversation in the sealed forest. That's one of those destroyed old, like, golems over there. What the hell are you two doing here?
Say, Petra, wouldn't it be great if, no matter how bad the war gets, at least this place stayed peaceful?
This place was embroiled in war 5 years ago. What are you talking about?
Yes, I think so. I like this tree. It gives me calmness.
Okay, this tree's nice. We can
I
agree
like
on
this
that.
tree too. It feels like it's always welcoming and reliable.
But when the war has ended, I must be leaving this tree. I must be returning to Bridget. Claude, my grandfather has been saying I must find a husband of Fodlan.
Whoa, where did that come from? You minx, have you been searching for a suitor all this time?
If Fodlan and Bridget become
little
bound
tasteless.
by marriage, it will give my
She was a
grandfather
political
great
prisoner.
joy.
Well, you are a princess, so it makes sense that you have obligations.
I am not having an obligation. I will only be marrying if I find a good person.
She did make it sound like it was a recommendation. She's not gonna listen if it doesn't benefit her.
So you just need to find a man who meets your expectations. That could be tricky.
No, I won't.
Makes
be
you say
finding
that.
one. It will not be a problem.
Oh? And who's the lucky fellow?
It is my secret. I will not be telling him yet.
I see. Do you think he can give you the kind of future you deserve?
I am not knowing about the future. But my perfect husband could be him. If he gives refusal, I will be tying him up and dragging him home.
Petra?
Tie up? Well, I'm sure the lucky man will learn to accept his fate one way or another.
Oh, like you wouldn't love that, Claude.
Besides,
Don't lie
any
to
man
any
would
of
reject
us.
a proposal from a catch like you.
That was sweet. It was one of those ones that's funny because it's like with Edelgard and Hubert, where they hit their A support, and it's very obvious that, like, they're specifically saying, like, yeah, I'd marry the hell out of you. And so it's really funny if they end up with someone else after that. It's also funny because if she did end up with a man and a different man than Claude, it would be like she was just not talking about him that whole time. And Claude's just like, oh, okay, never mind. But that was really sweet. I love their friendship. It's so... It's nice that it feels like it gets to not be really about the world's circumstances, like in a way that a lot of them are. Like a lot of them, like Claude and Leonie, for instance, is very much about like their society and the way they respond to it. So it feels nice that those two get to kind of be like, they just get to kind of, you know, hang out in a tree and like talk and like play games about trying to get up in the tree down fast and all that. Their support gets to feel nice and a bit like its own thing in a way from the rest of them. Speaking of Petra, hello again.
Please do not be concerned. I just did too much overworking and lost my strength.
See, that concerns me. Why is this the topic of like every support today? Are you okay?
Yes, I have no problems. Except my apology for giving you worry. I have sorrow.
No problems.
I am sorry to be fainting at a time like this. Even though I was not asking
I'm
for your
sorry
care
for
and attention.
fainting.
You gave it willingly.
It was the least I could do.
I am thinking that is incorrect.
Well, sucks to be wrong.
Will you have a listen to me? There is something that I must be saying. I am thinking you already have knowledge of why I came to Fodlan. Not for studying, but as a hostage for the Empire. So that Bridget would not be rebelling anymore. It feels like a knife against my throat. That I am making my grandfather obey the Empire. If I were running away from the Empire, then Bridget would be defeated. I am not having any options. To be living, I must be fighting to win. For Bridget to be
It's lucky you're
living,
good at it then.
the Empire
That is
needs to
pretty
be
sad.
crushed. So I must be crushing the Empire. That is what my people are wanting from me. and what my grandfather, the King of Brigid, is wanting.
And what do you want?
My want? I am not knowing of that.
That's tough. Maybe we could, like, take a week off from murder and stuff, and we could talk about that?
The wants of my people are something I have power to achieve. Their wants are my own.
I'm like 50-50 on board with that, if that's how you really feel.
How I really feel. Understanding. Wait, no, I actually do not have understanding. Yet.
Me. I don't think I've ever seen a quote in this entire game that fits me better than this one.
What I am understanding is that there is something I am not understanding.
Ah, well that's a good place to start.
When I know what my true want is, I give you my promise that I will be telling you first.
Well, that's not necessary, but I thank you. That's very sweet. And I support theirs as well. What we're getting from this today is that everyone is working way too hard, and we really need like a few weeks vacation from all this war nonsense, war idiocy. Oh, Raphael and Ignatz, let's have this, please.
Hey, Raphael. Reading a letter?
Well, if it isn't old Ignatz. I got a message here from my sis.
Oh, a letter from Maya. I haven't seen her in so long. I bet she's all grown up.
Nah, she's still a shrimp. It's been a while since I but she's probably only up to your shoulders.
Wow. I can't believe she's gotten
That's
that
pretty tall.
I wrote to tell her about how we're friends again. Do you remember this?
Is that the picture
Did you
I drew for her?
write to tell her that you weren't friends at some
She
point?
sent it along with the letter. I guess she held on to it since we were kids. All right, that's enough looking. She said to show it to you and send it right back.
Yeah, she really wants it.
To think she's handling my little doodle with such reverence. That warms my heart. I remember the day I gave Maya that drawing. She looked so happy. Before then, I never knew I could make people happy.
Oh,
with
this
art.
is who he was talking about.
It was a revelation.
Oh.
I've been
Forgot
drawing
about
and
that.
painting ever since. In
Who he was
hopes of
talking about with
becoming an
Leonie.
artist one
Leonie.
day.
You're much better now, so it must be paying off. I bet you could be a real artist.
No, that's not possible, I'm afraid. I have to consider my parents' wishes.
Who cares what your parents want? It's not like you're a noble or nothing. Your fate is your own.
It's not like you're Lysithea and your fate's already been decided. Come on, Ignatz.
You think so?
I know so. And I'm gonna support you with whatever dream you got.
There's a good lad.
Let me see. What's the first step to follow your dreams? Oh, got it. You should paint me.
Yeah, you drape one knee over the other, Raphael, and strike an elegant pose.
Paint you?
Yeah. I want my little sis to know how good I'm doing here. So I gotta send her proof. Plus, she'll be doubly impressed if it's a painting you made.
Will that be easy to send back?
Good point. I can certainly try to capture your likeness. I'll paint you with a warm, cheerful expression on your face to bring Maya comfort.
Does he ever have any other expression?
My face? No way. You gotta get my muscles in there. Mostly my chest and arms.
So let me get this straight. You want your best pal Ignatz to send your little sister a painting that is just of disembodied, shredded chest and arms with no clothing on. And you want that to just be mailed to her.
Are you sure that's what she'd want to see?
Wait, before you start painting, I gotta get me a little more training in. If my muscles aren't bulging, then what's the point?
I'm not sure about this.
It doesn't seem like a great idea. I think I'm with Ignatz in this one. Maybe just settle for a normal portrait. But that was sweet. Lawrence and Claude to A. Oh, I can only imagine how catty this will get.
The trees, and the trees bear fruit. It's the earth itself that gives us all life. Oh, Fodlan, land of plenty, bless us with the gift of delicious food.
What are you doing?
Oh, it's just you, Lawrence.
I was disturbed by your ridiculous blather. Must you recite it quite so loudly?
It's a big monastery, Lawrence. Go somewhere else.
Can you even call that nonsense poetry when it is utterly ignorant of rhyme and meter?
Ouch. You don't hold back, do you? I didn't know you were so particular about poetry. Ha!
But you knew he was
Maybe
particular
you have
about
a
you.
secret poetry collection of your own hidden somewhere.
That's absurd. Where did you hear that?
Just see the way Claude was able to like flip the dynamic of that. Lawrence came and ripped into him, and I'm sure that actually did annoy Claude. But like he, because he's so silver-tongued, he was able to just turn it into an insult against Lawrence
And just
somehow.
what was that poem about? It seemed to me that you were praising the land, but is it not the goddess who nurtures the land? Should your praise not go to her instead?
Of course you zero in on that detail. You really are a Fodlan noble through and through.
Even though he isn't personally devout.
Certainly. Aren't you?
I'm not quite the same, no. Though noble blood flows within me, it can't change who I am at heart.
Pardon? I think you had best clarify.
No, I want you to leave with that, just to mull over for the next few weeks.
Listen, Lawrence, you had ambitions of becoming the Alliance's ruler, didn't you?
Did? Oh no.
Would you like to try that for real? If you really want it, I wouldn't mind giving up my position.
What's this all of a sudden? That is not an offer to be made in jest.
I'm not joking around. I've been thinking it for a while now. I originally thought you were like a fox drawn in by the deer of the Alliance. But I was wrong. You're no thoughtless predator. You're trying to properly train the deer around you. Isn't that right?
That is my intention. But the ambition is insufficient. To rule well, a certain temperament is required. When we first met, I mistrusted you a great deal. And on my father's advice, I observed you closely. That is why I can say this for certain.
Wasn't sure you were fond enough for your father to
qualities necessary to govern.
follow his word so devotedly.
A compliment? From you? That's about as rare as a deer standing on its hind legs and doing a jig.
It's more common than you'd think over down at Lake Tutatis. Happens all the time. You should go and see.
Merely a statement of fact. One that is quite relevant to the future of the Alliance.
The future of the Alliance, huh? You really are devoted to your cause.
Depending on your actions, I may yet see fit to seize your position for myself. Bear that in mind.
And when I do, it won't be because you offered it to me, he seems to say.
I welcome the idea. It means I can feel safe vanishing whenever I see fit.
Vanishing? Do not tell me you intend to die in this conflict. You cannot shape the future if you do not live to see it.
That wasn't what he meant, but it's nice to see Lawrence care.
First you compliment me, and now you're worried about me? What have you done with the real Lawrence? No, I'm not going to die. I'm tougher than I look. Besides, this war isn't just for the Alliance anymore. It's going to decide the fate of all Fodlan.
And maybe a bit
It
beyond.
would be cruel to leave you with the burden of uniting all of Fodlan by yourself, don't you think?
Burden, please. If there were none other suitable, I would gladly become a king. Or even an emperor.
Well, well. I guess I shouldn't take Lawrence of
Bit
the
of a change in your
famous
tune
House
from a minute ago.
Gloucester so lightly. Really, though. Don't you go dying on me either, Lawrence. We're going to need men like you in the age to come.
The same to you, Claude. A world without you would be ever so dull.
Aw. Oh, that's really sweet. I like that line. I forgot about that line. I'm tearing up from that line. I need to see something funny quickly before I cry and ruin my microphone.
I finally finished that necklace for you.
Oh no, this is gonna be really sweet too.
Oh! Whoa! This is incredible! And so shiny!
She's been working on that for 5
You're
years.
like an artist, Hilda!
You're
How'd
like
you
an
do
artist.
this?
Just like I told you. I put the flowers and the shiny rocks in a bottle, and then poured in some resin to preserve everything. I thought the flowers you had were looking a little pathetic, so I added a few of my own.
Hey, nice.
It was hard work, making sure the flowers and the stones were spread evenly, getting rid of the air bubbles.
What's this? The part you hang around your neck? I thought you used the one I gave you.
Oh yeah, no, that's a cord I braided. I was going to use metal, but some people are allergic to metal, so I figured better safe than sorry.
What? The punched out, hollowed out tree stump wasn't doing it for you?
You didn't give me much to work with, and look what I pulled off. I am a miracle worker.
It's gorgeous! Beautiful! I've never seen anything like it. Thank you, Hilda.
Whoa, hold up. What's with the blubbering?
It's just... I bet my sister never got anything so pretty in her whole life. She's had
Stop it. Now Raphael's gonna make me
so
cry.
much because of me. I never got her anything this nice and cute before. She's gonna love it and be so happy.
Okay. Yes, okay, that's enough. Come on, you're embarrassing me here. If you're really that happy, I'm glad I put some effort into something for once.
Don't you always put effort into
Me
things?
too.
That's sweet of you, but no. I don't want to put in effort and then disappoint people. It's dispiriting, not to mention tiring.
And that's the real crime.
What if they're not disappointed? Then they'd feel great, and you'd feel great too.
Yeah, You have a point there.
Is it worth it
I guess
taking
I'm
that gamble?
realizing that now. You know, thanks to you, I'm starting to see things from my brother's perspective.
Well, hey, you've got a heck of a lot of skill with this sort of thing, so who isn't going to be
What
satisfied?
do you mean? Do you have a big bro too?
I do. I've always thought of him as an overprotective nuisance, but now I feel thankful. Looking at you, I couldn't help but think, sometimes big brothers are okay.
I didn't do anything special though. It's natural for a big bro to look after his little sis.
Not as natural as you may think, my friend.
Oh, that reminds me.
Though it should be.
I still haven't found anything special enough to repay you for the necklace. I got an idea though. How about I help you make a tough-looking necklace for your big bro?
No need. I have a better idea. When the wars simmer down, why don't you and your sister come visit me?
Really? That's it?
Yeah, I want to make sure it suits her. And then I can adjust the cord if I need to.
Of course we'll come visit. I told my sis all about you, and she already wants to meet you.
Well, good. I look forward to it. In the meantime, hold me close to your heart.
Whoa!
What?
That's what the necklace would say
Ah.
if it could talk.
Smooth.
Hold me close to your heart.
That was a close one. Hilda almost let it slip with when she had the Goddess Tower event with Hoppy as well earlier. She's always getting like a bit too close to, except with the one time with Claude where she actually did let it slip. She always seems to get just a little too close to saying what she actually means. Damn it, that actually did make me cry. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. But I just I feel like that bears ill for these next few because they're probably gonna get even sadder.
Huh. What's that about?
Oh God, no.
Marianne, I saw you on the training grounds earlier. It looked like there was an argument.
More like a dressing down.
Oh no, it was nothing.
Are you sure? Nothing happened at this morning's training?
Well,
Okay, tell me what happened.
I just couldn't keep up with the rest of the group.
I have a really hard time believing that.
Everyone got so mad at me. They said something about looking into their eyes so I could read their movements, but I couldn't do it.
They may have a point.
I'm a hindrance to everyone. I can't do it.
Of course not. That goes without saying. It's hard to accomplish anything on your own. Look at me. By myself, I'm worse than useless. Can you see where I'm going with this? To succeed, you have to cooperate. You can't do that if you're paying attention to nonverbal cues.
Huh?
Please, try looking up. Looking people in the eye. You'll see some things that you've never seen before.
It's difficult.
People worry about you and rely on you. You'll see that on your allies' faces. In a way, you'll see what they're thinking.
You may be right. It was my fault for looking down.
I'm not sure that's what he meant. It was also their fault for not taking it gracefully.
Thank you, Ignatz. I appreciate your encouragement.
Of course. Look, we both saw the sunset and appreciated its beauty.
I do remember that. That was nice.
Nature communicates without words. We can do the same. We don't need to speak to be understood. Stop staring at your feet. Look at us. That'll be a good start.
I can certainly try.
Huh.
Is something wrong? Did I say something to upset you?
Oh no, to the contrary. I just realized that I was missing something. A thing of remarkable beauty. Right under my nose.
Remarkable beauty?
What? Don't mind me.
Nice one, Ignatz. I feel like they were a little hard on her there. Even if, granted, that can help, sure. Doesn't mean you have to, give her a shout down in front of the entire training ground. Don't want to help the message stick, necessarily. I mean, I will with some people. Claude, Ebo Buddy, how do it be?
Oh, hey there. What are you doing up at this hour?
Looking for people to spy on and or talk to? I couldn't sleep.
Is that right? I guess the more you have to think about, the harder it is to fall asleep.
So usually not a problem, and yet I struggle to fall asleep anyway.
At times like this, I like to gaze up at the stars to clear my head. I've been that way since I was a kid. Looking up at the big starry sky makes my dreams feel small, which makes it feel like I can actually make them come true. I didn't believe in odds when I was a kid. Maybe that's because the night sky took their place for me. Hey,
You and Happy
Teach,
should exchange notes.
will you talk with me a while?
Hey, sure. I mean, I
bet
can't
you
sleep,
figured
so...
this out, but I wasn't born in Fodlan. Where I come from, the people of Fodlan are looked down on as cowards. Technically, that cowardice runs in my veins. On my mother's side, anyway. That's why the people who were around me when I was growing up thought of me as an outsider. But I don't believe the people of Fodlan are cowards. That kind of perspective is just based on ignorance. The person from Fodlan who I know best is my
Calling her a coward would be a one-way ticket to instant death and/or dragging behind horse.
She fell in love with a man from the wrong side of the border and had the guts to leave home to pursue that love. I always threw that in the faces of anyone who tried to make a fool of me. My mother is proof the people of Fodlan aren't all cowards. Just saying that doesn't achieve anything, though. I need to destroy the prejudices that have taken root in my homeland. That's why I came here, to see Fodlan with my own eyes. I thought I might be able to find a new perspective that could help me change things.
And what you found was a bunch of people who hated everyone east of the border as well.
And what did I find? That the people here view anyone who's an outsider as a beast of sorts. I was shocked. Even though our cultures and beliefs are completely different, our two lands have that much in common.
Yay! What a nice place to start.
That's when I realized the only way to change things is to bring the whole world together and start anew. That's the dream I've been working towards since I first entered the Officers Academy 5 years ago.
I figured I could achieve it if I just made social media. But guess what, Teach? That backfired too.
To unify the Alliance, and then all of Fodlan, and to bring a new set of values to this new land of mine. After that, I'd expand that vision to the rest of the world, break down the walls, and let a new perspective come rushing in. Start all over. Do you think that's just a crazy pipe dream? Or a brilliant ambition?
Hey, why can't it be both, right? Can you make that pipe dream come true?
Not too long ago, I would have said it was too much for me to accomplish on my own.
But now I know I'm such a badass I don't need any help.
But that's not how I feel anymore. And that's because I have you on my side now.
Well, that doesn't make you alone, does it?
Lately, I've spent a lot of time thinking how I wouldn't have made it this far without you.
I was just starting to think the same thing about you, my friend. What the hell would we have done at Reunion at Dawn without you?
You and me, Teach. We can go anywhere. Do anything. I hope that you always
the bottom of
walk
the
in
ocean.
step
We can't
with
go
me.
there.
At least, until the day comes when we can look out at the peaceful world we've built. Together.
I'd love that. One of these days, pal. One of these days. That was lots of the Hoppy supports, mercifully. So I'll return to my quarters here just to finish these last few out. My goodness, even though I split it into 2 episodes, it still took a heck of a lot of time. So many supports! Lawrence and Hilda.
Lawrence, look!
What is it, Hilda? Ah, a letter from your brother?
That's right. Though part of me thinks it's some stranger imitating my brother's handwriting. He's never given me this much praise.
Hasn't he? I was under the impression he'd like to do that a lot.
Hilda, you've learnt the value of persistence. You're really maturing, stuff like that. Usually his letters are like, I'm worried about you, and stop being so lazy.
Oh my.
Since I have fought by your side, I can assure you that his praise is genuine and entirely deserved.
I've written about fighting in plenty of letters. Why is he so gushy this time around?
Because Lawrence.
I would venture to guess that your depictions of battle are more passionate than before. It's no surprise that such authenticity would resonate with a veteran warrior like your brother.
If that's true, I have you to thank. You've inspired me to throw myself into battle. Does everyone think I'm a tough warrior now? I don't want to be stuck with their high expectations.
Sorry to say, my friend, that's not going away anytime soon.
Would that be so terrible? You are gifted, you know. Not to say that your lackadaisical nature has failed to endear itself to me.
I'll choose to take that as a compliment.
How else could you take it?
Speaking of letters,
Your lackadaisical nature has
did
also
you
endeared
keep
yourself
your
to me.
promise? Did you, mention me?
I did. I told my brother all about you. I said you were a uniquely gifted leader who could inspire people to be their best selves. And I said that you'll be a real asset to the Alliance.
Very sweet.
I also told him how I wished you could join our family. He responded that he'd be honored to call you his brother.
What?
Oh, to have such a valiant brother would be beyond my wildest expectations.
Lawrence? You know what I mean about you joining our family, right?
I'm starting to question if I
I
do.
believe I do. And I confess, if I am correct, that the same thought has preoccupied me as well.
Say it out loud, please, so I know if I'm on the same
You must
page.
forgive me. Now is not the time.
Oh, okay.
Before we can consider our own future, we must first end this war. We must secure a peaceful world.
At least relatively speaking.
And if we do attain a peaceful world, then what? Come on! Just say it.
As much as I'd like to grant that request, I cannot. This is something that will deeply affect our lives. It must be said at the proper time and place, with the most artfully chosen words, and the perfect offering.
Killjoy.
I am Lawrence Hellman Gloucester, after all.
I'm not usually one for waiting around, but maybe I'll make an exception in his case.
Sometimes we all have to make some exceptions for Lawrence Hellman Gloucester. But that was nice also. Lacity and Ignatz, I hope we're prepared to insult him less this time. Oh, she seems already very upset with herself.
Something I can do for you?
Can you help me out with my shopping?
Yes, of course. You need me to carry stuff?
Actually, can you pick up some tea for me? I do it, but I'm at work.
You're so busy you can't go shopping. Okay. Do you have a favorite kind of tea?
Feels like she's just trying to feel this out, how it feels to ask him for help. Because she feels bad about what she said before.
I'm not too picky. I just like having it around, really. Whatever's cheapest works for me. Here's some money.
One question. Why me? You don't really need my help for this.
I just thought I could lean on you a bit. You know, rather than trying to do everything on my own.
Right, I see. Well, good. I'm glad you decided to approach me. But for this particular task, you might be better off doing it yourself.
Oh?
There are so many different kinds of tea, and I'm not very discerning. Well, what if I get you one you don't like? When I do my own shopping, I pick a tea at random. Otherwise, I'd be paralyzed by all the choices. It's the same with food. Sometimes I stare and stare at the options and never decide.
You look like you were doing just fine when you went to get groceries the other day.
I really had
Which
to
I was
push
watching
myself
for
to do
reasons
that
of don't
alone.
worry about it.
I don't think I can do that again. Sorry.
Oh, Ignatz.
Uh-huh.
Big mood.
So, you've stopped trying to do things on your own, then?
Yeah. Still, though, for today, how about you have some of my tea? If that'll do.
Sounds nice, sure. Do you mind brewing mine while you're at it?
Okay. Though I can't do it as skillfully as Lawrence, I'm afraid. I'll get it ready right away. Feel free to start focusing on your work. What?
I mean, you seem plenty reliable to me.
I do. Really? How so?
You're fun, you're easy to be around, and you rarely complain when you help others.
Not sure that's exactly the same as being reliable. Sounds like you're just saying something nice to him.
Well, I'm just pouring you some tea. I'm not sure that qualifies as help.
It's not easy for me to rely on people, but with you, it's different.
Well, there aren't many things I can do, frankly.
Frankly, that's untrue.
What I can do, I will do. So if you need anything, ask me, and I'll try to help.
You really are unreliable, as it turns out. Guess I'll just have to take your word for it.
You're confusing Gal, Scythia. But at least she was able to break that wall that never really existed down a little. Lawrence and Leone. Let's have a listen.
Hey, got a minute?
Leone, are we to sharpen swords again?
Right, that's what they were doing before. She threw a bucket of oil and said, "Get to work."
I came to give you this handkerchief back. Sorry, I know I held on to it for a while. You lent me this. Remember?
I recall giving it to you. It is a noble's duty to give to the common folk. In return, the commoner need only pay respect.
That's nice. You left out the part where the nobles take all the stuff the regular folks make?
Yes, the common folk give the fruits of their labor, willingly, I might add, as a token of that respect. The head of San village offers his tribute in exactly that spirit, you know.
San? That's my village. You knew?
Of course. We granted exclusive hunting rights to San and forbade outsiders from poaching. In fact, when we received complaints about just that, we hired mercenaries to deal with the issue.
So that's what brought Gerald.
What was that?
Nothing. Look, just take the handkerchief. I'm returning something I borrowed from a friend.
Very well. As your friend, I will accept it.
You know, I really wish you wouldn't think of nobles as always giving and commoners as only receiving. Friends help each other, without thinking about status. And that help goes both ways.
Quite so. And when I require the aid of a friend, I assure you I will happily recognize it. But only with friends. In the main, I must continue to refuse assistance from the common folk. For a noble to accept would be disgraceful.
Huh. I always thought he was just stuck up. Turns out, he just has this grand idea of nobility he's trying to live up to.
Could say that about a lot of the characters
I
in this
know.
game.
I didn't even give him the handkerchief.
Ah, rip. That, of course, was an A and not an A+ support, and they have an A+ support, so there's more that can go on there, which is interesting. I kind of like to see it. Wait, so when it hits A+, does it get even more than this accuracy and avoidance chance? Does that mean that you have a better chance? You have better combat with people, or can Claude? She can also reach A+ with Claude. It's just there's no conversation. I always forget how that goes. It is interesting, their relationship, because a lot of what it's founded on is stuff that they don't get to see about the nature of the relationship between, if you want to call it that, their two groups. And much like a lot of these conversations, it's just a lot about them getting a chance to throw those conceptions away and actually see the people for what they are. While we're in Leonie's territory, Leonie Raphael.
Hey, writing to your sister again?
You bet. Gotta reply to these things as soon as they come in.
You had one last week, too. It's great to see you're both so good about staying in touch. It's especially important when there's a war going on.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. My sister wrote to say how much she loved the painting supplies you sent.
Maya's just been talking about everyone in the entire monastery. And say thanks to Ignaz for this drawing, and say thanks to Hilda for this necklace, and thanks to Leonie for the painting supplies.
I'm glad gathering those pigments paid off.
You even made her a brush.
Everyone in the monastery
really
is just
you doing all that for
loves
me.
Maya.
I was fascinated with painting at that age. I was a pretty artistic kid, if you can believe it. Not a lot of time for it when you're hungry, though.
Sounds like you had a pretty tough time growing up, too. Huh?
I guess so. We never thought of it that way.
Few
But
people
it's
do.
true, the children in my village don't usually get to choose their futures. Any one of us could have had the talent for artistic genius and never even noticed. I was one of the lucky ones. I only got to follow my passion thanks to my father and all the other folks. That's why, once I come into my own, the first thing I'll do is head back there and help the other kids.
Oh, wow. It's like all the kids in your village are counting on you.
No need to exaggerate.
I'm sure she feels that way.
Besides, it's not like I'm unique. You're working hard for your sister's future, aren't you?
Yeah. It's like me and you are both carrying big weights. We should try sharing the weight with each other. You know, lighten both of our loads.
Huh?
If we share our problems, then we only gotta carry half the weight, right? It works out for everybody.
So, not sure that's entirely accurate, mathematically speaking, but I see what you're saying. You only have to carry half the weight of your problem, and then the other half is their problem. Yeah, no, there's some sense there. Same weight, net total, but...
It's probably a good thing you didn't try to take on your family's business. If you take half of my burden and I take half of yours, the total's still the same.
Nah, that doesn't sound right. Everything's lighter when you don't gotta carry it alone.
On second thought, you might be right. With the right attitude and the right partner to share the burden, maybe it is only half the weight.
Now you're getting it. It's a waste of energy to struggle alone when there's someone who can help you.
That's true. And I do hate waste, as you well know. So when it comes to working toward the future you're after, you know I won't fall short.
Great! And you should never fall short on sharing a big meal with me, too.
What are we talking about again?
Deal.
You lost me at the end there, Raphael. That's very sweet. That was some very Winnie the Pooh-esque wisdom from Raphael there. Hilda has two now. In fact, they're both the next ones are just two Hilda supports. Hilda and Ignaz, and then Hilda and Marianne we'll end it off with. Oh boy.
Oof.
Rip.
Capsized the teapot. Tea leaves on the carpet. This'll be fun to clean up.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Hilda?
Not to mention all the
Is something wrong?
stains.
Is
Is something
I
wrong?
accidentally knocked over my
Shattered glass all over the place. Stains soaking into the floorboards. But to grow mold that will kill the entire monastery and then break the floorboards as well so that you trip in the middle of the night. Is something wrong?
I drunk all the tea already, thank
Oh,
the goddess.
okay.
But the tea leaves went right into the carpet.
Oh, that's a mess. Let me help. I can leave stains.
Oh,
if
right.
I'm not
This is the
careful.
whole thing is Ignaz is always eager to help so much that it actually started to bother her. Let's see how she handles
Don't
this.
you have somewhere to be?
Oh no, don't worry. I'm on a break.
What's that in your hands? Oh, painting supplies. You were gonna go do some painting, weren't you?
Ah, yes. The weather's quite splendid, and I found a place where some gorgeous flowers are blooming, but the flowers aren't going anywhere this second. Let's clean this up.
Of course, unless of course Raphael comes and grabs them, make another pendant.
Okay. Thanks, Ignaz, and sorry to keep you away from your painting.
That's okay. It didn't stain at least. We picked all the leaves out of the carpet.
Still going painting? Or is it too late in the day?
No, I think time-wise it'll be fine. If you're not doing anything, Hilda, would you care to join me? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. Forget what I said, I'm sure you're busy anyway.
You didn't let me say anything.
Well, no, but you didn't reply, so I thought you didn't want to.
I never said I didn't want to. I was just surprised. I'd love to see those pretty flowers you mentioned. I'm glad you invited me.
Oh, that's good. Wait, you're glad?
Of course I am. I like being invited to things, silly.
I'm sure that's all
Right,
there
of
is to
course.
it.
It's affirming.
Yeah, exactly.
It's affirming.
There's no need to worry that an invitation is burdening someone. It feels good to be asked.
Of course, of course. Well then, in addition to seeing the flowers with me, would you like to help with my painting?
I wouldn't want to screw up your opus. I'm not much of a painter.
No, I meant that I'd like to paint you, with the flowers all around you. Oh, that's too much, isn't it? Forget I said anything.
Silly.
Didn't let her
You
answer
didn't even
again.
Let me answer. But you're right. I'm not up for that.
Yeah, staying in one place for that long is.
I'm
ugh.
sorry,
I'm not up for that, unless your painting of me will look really, really cute. Can you make that happen?
Huh? Of course. I'll paint you cute as a button.
Good. Shouldn't be too hard. I can feel a very cute smile coming on.
Aw. 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 This episode is just me saying that over and over. Aw. But that's so nice. Oh, golly. I have a lot of people who have reached. My bond with people is very deep. I'm not even at A support with Leonie. Oh, wow. Hilda and Lysithea both have an A support that's locked for now. I wonder what that's about. I'm actually rather surprised that Leonie's only at B support when I'm already at the S support threshold with Catherine and Petra. Maybe I was just teaching them more or something because Leonie's sort of more of a natural, isn't she? Well, final support of the day. Marianne and Hilda up to A. I'm sure it'll be a good one. It's those two. Come on.
Hilda, I wanted to thank you for helping me in the infirmary. I brought you these pastries.
Ooh, thanks. Put some tea on. Have a seat.
That sounds lovely, but I also wanted to apologize
She says,
for
sitting
always
down.
causing you such trouble.
It's no trouble. No trouble at all. Everything tastes better with friends, don't you think? I give you help, you give me sweets, we have a little tea party. It's a judgment, I'd say. I'm used to it now, so if it changed suddenly, I would feel disoriented.
Our friendship is built on the pressure of you not changing
I
it.
suppose if you're enjoying yourself, then it can't be that bad.
Aw. That's a very nice thing to say.
Sure. You don't seem to mind listening while I gab, so I'm enjoying myself plenty. But do let me know if I'm too boring.
Hilda, you are many things. Boring is not one of them.
No, you're not boring at all. In fact, you're, very good at talking. You're also good with your hands. You can clean and organize better than almost anyone. I envy you.
Oh, stop. I'm blushing. I'm not as great as all that. We're both a lot different on the inside than we look on the outside. Don't you think?
How do you mean?
People who see you think you're so proper, but you're actually clumsy. That's why I help you, because there are some things you just can't do.
I'm sorry you always have to clean up after me.
I didn't say I hated it. In fact, you've taught me a few new techniques I can use to persuade people.
Oh no.
Maybe I'll start imitating you a little bit. I'll do the Marianne. That sheepish, sorry, quavering downcast eyes. But that might not work as well for me.
Did you recognize that sorry?
People would probably assume that I'd hit my head.
Oh, well.
Aw, Marianne laughing at me. So rude and yet so adorable.
I'm so sorry.
What a thing to say to someone's
I just
face.
can't help it. When I imagine you doing those things,
Yeah. It's rather un-Hilda-like, I'll admit. Okay, that's enough laughing.
Can't just turn it off like that.
So sorry.
Hey, are you all right? That tea's hot, Marianne. Be careful.
Yes. Oh, ouch, hot.
Come on, what did I just say?
I know, I'm sorry. Ow, hot.
Oh boy, a real steady hand, that Marianne. It's nice to see her laugh. Sure, she was laughing at me, but how can I get mad when she looks so dang cute?
And on that note, I think that's all we have time for this episode, and that was all the supports. Golly, that was a heck of a lot, but we got to a lot of very sweet conclusions like that one. Man, a lot of emotions this episode. Can't just hit me with all those A supports. Jeez, oh man, Raphael crying about how Maya's never gotten anything like this before really actually did strike me in a very... I remember that one, but I don't remember... I don't know, just hearing it again somehow, it really got to me. It's just so sweet. He's just so full of love. Raphael writes... Oh, golly, okay. Save that there, that hour-long bout of supports we just did. Jeepers. Could almost have split that into 3 episodes. I probably should have. But there you have it, dear friends. So I'll put the system sounds back on because we've got a whole monastery day ahead of us, which usually, as I said before, takes us 2 days. It's 1 to talk to everyone and then 1 to do with everything with the activity points we've got. The only parallel we have is still dividing the world, although that said it's rather above our level, isn't it? It's like level 30 they want you to be or something like that, so it might be a bit of a tough sell, but... we might give that a try on this battle day next time, but we're nearing the point where we're gonna have, we're gonna hit Professor Level A sometime soon, aren't we? Oh, look at Bernie Bear in the evening wear, it looks so good. Yeah, we're probably gonna hit the Professor Level A this very day, which, is that the point at which you get battle points to 3, or is it A+? We'll see. Anyway, we'll get some more exploration and probably lesson points at that point, which will be very, very good. And number of adjustments going up to 3 is also going to happen at some point in time soon, which is neat. 1180 goes missing during the Battle of Garreg Mach. 1185 regains consciousness at the bottom of the valley and then appears at Garreg Mach. And status is ally of the Alliance Army. I guess... oh yeah, all their little personal history things have changed since 5 years ago anyway. Goes back home to a wealth of free time. We'll have to check all those out next episode, and as well as we do the Monastery Day, but that was good fun doing all those supports. Gore, it takes a long time, but it's worth it, ain't it? It's worth it. We're a lot of very sweet relationships coming to their full blossom, and some romance, some emotion, some sad. Mostly the overwhelming feeling that we're all stronger and better for it. So, thus ends episode 60. Next video on the channel is going to be our first episode of Ace Attorney, Spirit of Justice. Finally, we're starting that. It was only, like, 4 months ago that we beat Dual Destinies, right? When did we beat Dual Destinies? It was like November, right? It was November 17th, so it's only been like 2 months, actually, since we beat it, but I've missed it so much. I can't wait to play that game and be up to speed with where the series is at right now. The main series, anyway. We obviously still have to go through all the investigations games and the Great Ace Attorney in that, but it's gonna be so fun, man. I can't wait to start Spirit of Justice. I've got a lot to prove in that game. And next time here, Monastery Day. So, wait, so what chapter is this counted as? This is counted as chapter 14. Reunion at Dawn is it's chapter 13. So, in other words, we're pretty far along. But we still got a swath of adventures to have yet, and many of us are still gaining the mastery for Assassin. So, lots to ponder there. That is all for now, though. So, thank you so very much for coming around. Hopefully, I will see you around. Admiral's gonna be out of here now. Peace! You think that you can just kill the hottest rulers this country has ever had and get away with it? Tomatoes! I will tomato you into... oh, calm down. We don't need to do that, do we? Okay, hang on, wait. You are? Oh, neat. Why did that take me out of the menu for you to say that? Listen.